Good morning. You know, the one thing that takes a relationship from being shallow to having depth, that one thing, just think back over in through your life, through your childhood, and think about your best friend. You know, you know their favorite ice cream. You know, what they love the most, what their favorite color is, what their favorite food is. Think about your spouse. What is it about them, of their habits that you know, or the way they talk, or their mannerisms that you even yourself have begun to adapt them, and you talk a little bit like them, and if you've picked up tendencies that they have that you didn't have before you met them. The biggest transition, the biggest element that takes a shallow relationship to a deep relationship is time. It's simply time. You can't have it any other way. You can't know somebody without spending time with them. You can't be more like someone without spending time with them. You can't even get into someone's head and help them through their problems, help them through their issues, unless you spend time with them. And it's the same thing with our relationship with Jesus Christ. Unless we spend time with Him and we fellowship with Him, we spend time with Him, we commune with Him in prayer. It's impossible to know Him the way that He knows us. Sometimes it's difficult, and I commend people that have just resilient um, uh, dedication and discipline to get down and to just put their mind to something and just do it. Every morning I'm gonna work out, or I'm gonna cut out soda, or I'm gonna start eating healthy, or I'm gonna make sure that I want to read the newspaper every morning. I commend people like that. I am not one of those people that can just gear in and just buckle down and do it. I have a process I have to go through. I have to psych myself out mentally. I have to give it a couple days, give it a couple tries, before I can ever lock down and do something. You know, and it can be difficult if you don't have that control and that mindset to just kind of get in there and do something. And it applies to our relationship with God. It can be really difficult to just, let's be honest. I talk with our students there at the church, and one of the things I tell them is, it's hard to have a conversation, when there's nobody around. You know what I mean? You can't hear anybody's voice. And I just tell them, sometimes I have to help myself out. I have to help my mind out. I have to help my flesh out. And you know what? I'll set up a chair and I'll talk to that chair. You know what I mean? And I'll start to have a relationship with that chair, and all of a sudden it's not about the chair anymore. The chair kind of fades away, and I continue the conversation with God in prayer. And that's the same thing with all of us. Is that sometimes we just need a little help. And I would just say this as an encouragement. You know what, God, I want to be devoted to you. I want to be committed to you, God. But right now we see through the glass very dimly, like the scripture says. We can't see all of you. We don't know all of you. We don't know Jesus fully the way He knows us. We know all we need to know in order to know Him, but the depths that He has, He's just so big. And I just pray these prayers, and this is me being completely trying. God, you know what? I need help to even live for you. I need help. God, sometimes I just need some encouragement. Send me a sign. To get some birds tweeting outside. Just something to note that I know you're there. And He always encourages me and sends me a sign, or speaks to my heart, or speaks to my spirit. And when I just simmer down and quiet down, I can hear His voice. So I say, you know what? Let's just pray that together, that God would fill us with His Spirit and just make us more aware of that He is there, and encourage us that we can get down to a place of relationship with Him, get to know Him better by just spending time with Him. And He'll help us make those commitments. He'll make time in our schedule. There will always be time. God will always give you your time back. I promise you. Whenever we say, you know what, it's hard to build a relationship with God, I don't have a time for it, or blah, blah, blah. You know what? God is an excellent bookkeeper. And if you set some time aside for Him, He will always make time for you to do what you need to do later on in the day. Something will happen, something will get canceled, something will get moved. You'll have an extra hour pop up somewhere, and God will always make sure that your things get done because you paid a tithe to Him. You gave to Him first of your time. So I encourage you, keep seeking after the Lord. keep spending time with him and keep spending time with him so much so that not only you know him better, but that you begin to adapt and absorb some of his mannerisms and become more like him. God bless you.